Hey, how you guys doing today? Felonious Bitcoin here. Before I get started with today's video, I'd just like to really quickly thank everybody for tuning into my channel. Without you, none of this would be possible, so thank you. With that being said, I'm just gonna get right into it. I get up today, I'm looking online at news articles, and I see a few of them from about a couple of weeks ago talking about Gavin Newsom. For those that don't know, he's the governor of California. What he did was he put more rules telling people that they can't go out, they need to social distance, small businesses need to continue to close. What I can't wrap my head around is the hypocrisy. He's telling people to follow his rules, follow his lockdown measures. Meanwhile, he's not taking his own advice. He's getting together with friends and family, not wearing a mask in between bites like he's telling people to do. When he gets caught, he's telling people that he's sorry, he's only human. I just can't understand. He says that he's human and he makes mistakes. How many mistakes has he made? One lockdown after another, and people continue to follow his rules. Why? What's really unbelievable is that people are listening. Why? I just don't get it. Why are people listening to this guy? He's destroying your life. He's destroying your business. He's destroying the lives of your employees, and you're just going along with it. I can't wrap my head around is these sheriffs out in California. I understand that they say they're not going to enforce these rules because obviously they're asinine rules. Why aren't these sheriffs arresting people like this? Why aren't they shutting people like him down for doing the things that he's doing? How come nobody is up in arms and burning his house down? I just don't understand it, because what he's doing and the rules that he's doling out to people, meanwhile not following, it's ruining people's lives. It's ruining their livelihoods. Why would you listen to this guy if he's been wrong on so many levels, so many different times? Just because he's in charge or he's the governor, we should listen to him? If the rules make sense to me, I'm going to follow the rules. But if they don't make sense, I'm not going to follow them. It's called having common sense, something that these people that are listening to these governors don't have. People that seem to have hope for a better future instead of actually going out and doing something to make a better future. They hope for a better future. Meanwhile, it just doesn't happen. And what happens to them, what happens to their families, is they go homeless, they starve to death, and they just die off. That's the way this whole thing goes. That's what faith does to people. You have faith in some sort of higher being to change everything for you. It's a form of brainwashing. I can't help but think to myself that religions are there to control people in many ways. Mind control. God has some sort of use for tithes or tithing, where you give money to the church. Why does God have any need for money? Why do you need to gather at some fancy cathedral made out of stone in front of a guy that dresses up in a nice fancy flashy thing that everybody notices? He doesn't dress like a normal person. You would think that if these people were so godly that they'd be given more back than what they're taking in for themselves. But no, that's not the way that religions work. I know that this is going to offend some people out there, and I apologize for that. But at the same time, I can't let this go unsaid. I have common sense, and so do you. You've been manipulated. You've been brainwashed on so many different levels from such an early age to think that having hope for a better future is actually going to change the outcome of the future when it's not. And if everything is already set in stone, as it is said in the Bible, then why do you even bother living? Why don't you just stop going to work? Why don't you stop feeding yourself? If God is in control of everything, then why bother doing anything about it? That's my question to everybody tuning in, is I'd like to know what good religion has done for people, because I've seen so many people die over it. And there's so many different religions that I can't even wrap my head around it. If you're not comfortable with one religion, guess what? You can just change it up. It's like, oh, I'm not happy with this car, so I'll just get a new one. I don't think it should work that way, honestly, because if it's the truth, then there should only be one truth. There shouldn't be so many different versions of it or people that interpret it differently. It should be easy to understand for everybody. If you're not happy with this religion, you can pick a different one. If there's a truth, there should only be one truth. To me, the truth is what I can see all around me. I don't believe anything that I hear and only half of what I see. I'm skeptical like that. Most of these religious people, they're not very skeptical. It gives them something to believe in. It gives them something to do with their time, as opposed to actually going out and doing something with their life They sit there and they have all their faith in this one being that you can't see, you can't touch, you can't talk to. I mean, you can talk to him, but if he talks back to you, you're crazy. That's the way other people look at you. The Eastern religions, completely different from the Western religions. So somebody please explain to me how that works. What I can't wrap my head around when it comes to religion is how there's so many people on Facebook. I'm not sure if they're just hypocrites or they don't really know what they're doing, but I see so many people praying, like, oh, sending prayers for this poor child, or on Facebook, like with their hands crossed and everything. And I can't help but think to myself, wow, what kind of hypocrites are these people? I've read the Bible before, and I remember reading in Matthew chapter 6, verses 5 through 6, that you shouldn't pray out in public for everybody to see. You should do it behind closed doors, because if you do it that way, God will reward you in public. Don't be like the hypocrites. That's what I see, is a bunch of hypocrites, people praying in public for everybody else to witness. It's making a mockery of their own belief system. At the same time, they try to force it down your throat. People going door to door trying to spread their religion. What I don't understand is why keep pushing it on me. That's enough of my ranting and raving about religions. Another topic I'd like to talk about is Gavin Newsom. He's gathering with family and friends, meanwhile telling everybody else to stay at home, social distance, wear a mask. He's constantly doing these lockdowns. What I'd like to say to all the business owners out there, if you're tuning into my channel, is stop listening to these people. They're not doing you any good. They're not doing your employees any good. Your customers aren't happy about it. Why listen to these people? What do you have to lose? You know what I mean? Because if you're already basically going out of business because you have no income, the banks are going to take your building that you're leasing, or if you own it, then good for you. But how are you going to pay your taxes? You know, these people in charge are deliberately destroying the economy, and you're just continuously letting them. You have options here. You don't have to listen to them. Want to know what you can do? Is start reading the Constitution. Have a better understanding of the country that you live in and how the things are supposed to work, as opposed to how people are telling you that they're going to work. These people are not in charge of you. They're supposed to work for you, and that's not what they're doing. They're working against the people. They're working against small businesses. They're picking winners and they're picking losers. These governors, the people in charge, the ones enforcing the rules for these lockdowns, they should be hung for crimes against humanity.
May God have mercy on their poor souls.
These people don't have your best interests. They don't have good intentions. They never have. Look at all the tax money that they collect from people. And then they're going to tell you how to run your business. They're going to tell you what you need to do to stay open. Absolutely not. Want to know what you need to do? Is you need to enforce your Second Amendment right as a free citizen of this country. And you need to get up in arms against the people that are trying to overthrow you as a people. This is not what this country is about. This country could be so much better, but there's so many people out there that are just so brainwashed to think that these people have good intentions and they're doing the right thing for us. Did you notice that if you shut off the TV, that this completely goes away? It's like it was never even there. I think if there's a pandemic, that there wouldn't be any arguing about it. You'd be able to see people like falling over on the streets, you know what I mean? Dying on the side of the street in public if it was that bad, right? That's how I think about a pandemic. I honestly think that there wouldn't be all this arguing going on. I also saw on YouTube this morning them distributing these cures for the infection out in the UK. And what I see is these doctors or nurses or whatever the hell they are giving shots to this 90-year-old woman, meanwhile not wearing any personal protective equipment or gloves. You would think that if this thing is so infectious, you would take whatever precautions necessary to stop it from spreading. But no, they just want to make it look good for the camera, make it look good for everybody watching. That way, they get more people brainwashed, they give more people hope, and you don't even know what's in this syringe that they're injecting people with. I thought that in order to have like a safe cure for something, you have to do so many years of studies and trials to make sure that it's actually safe. Meanwhile, these pharmaceutical companies that are distributing the vaccines, they're not held liable for any damages, none whatsoever. So if anybody kicks the bucket, has adverse side effects because of their shots, they're not held accountable. That's equivalent of a drug dealer on the side of the street dealing Drano for you to snort up your nose and then the police not doing anything about it. That's the way I see this. All these people that are ratting other people out for gathering with their family members, their friends during the holidays, shame on you. The Nazis did the same exact shit, and here you are doing exactly the same thing. Meanwhile, saying how bad Nazis are, and here you are advocating for them. Why don't you cut the shit? Stop being a hypocrite. Stop being a brain-dead zombie that does whatever the mainstream media tells you to do. Stop doing what these governors tell you to do, because they're out there breaking their own rules, and then they expect the sheriff and the police to enforce the rules that they put on you. If anybody calls on them, oh, hey, what's going on, Bob? If these people are so worried about an infection, then how come they're not wearing masks? How come they're out having a good old time? This whole thing was a hoax. It's been a setup since day one, and I've been saying that. So many people are still brainwashed to think that this is a real thing. With that all being said, guys, I really appreciate your support. You guys are the best audience anyone could ever ask for. If you can, please leave a like on today's video, comment down below, share your thoughts, let me know what you're thinking about everything going on. And if you can, please subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Blast this video all over your social media, share it with your friends, your family, get the word out there. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.